Hi guys, Jobin here. This is the Ganzo model G717. This is a very popular knife that I've recommended for some time. Let me just set aside the black one here. I'm not going to talk about that right now. The main point of this video is that right now you are looking at two different versions of this knife. They differ mechanically. Basically, here's the Generation 1 and this is the Generation 2. Ganzo has not made a big deal about this. They haven't changed the model numbering. They just did some rather important updates and started shipping the new ones. As far as I know, I'm the only person to talk about this, at least on YouTube so far. So I'm going to walk you through the changes they made and tell you about them. Okay, we're going to start on the outside. One of the most obvious changes is that they've added a relieved section in the scale to allow easier access to the thumb stud. It's just a little bit hollowed out there, thinned down towards the edge, so you can get a better grip, or better access. You don't really grip a thumb stud. As you see on the Generation 1, it's kind of tucked down there against the scale, like that. Should probably show them next to each other. See, that's at about the same angle. You can barely see the Generation 1 thumb stud, and that one's much more accessible. Now the other thing is they also moved the thumb stud a little bit, which you may have caught already, but I can show you that very clearly like this. It's about 1/4 inch farther towards the back of the blade. And what that does is it moves the thumb stud up a little further towards the end of the knife in the closed position. For most people, that's probably going to be slightly easier access. So that's two fairly small but important ergonomic improvements. Another one, which is probably largely cosmetic but may alter the angles and leverage a little bit, is that the blade now sits higher in the handle in the closed position. If we look at them like this, should be fairly obvious, but I'll point it out anyway. The Generation 1, the blade dips below the plane of the handle about here. Generation 2 goes down almost 1 inch further. Okay, now that's the outside stuff, and I've actually kind of buried the lead here because the most important change is internal. And to show you that change, I brought in these two that I took the scales off of. Black Generation 2 here, and again the Generation 1 is tan. And if we zoom in a little bit here, you'll be able to see it clearly for yourself. If you look right here, this is the stop pin for the knife. That's what limits the travel of the blade and holds it in the open position. Now what you'll see here is there's a hole through it. And what this actually is this is a threaded hollow stop pin, which isn't unusual in itself. A lot of knives are like that. For example, here's a Paramilitary 2. It's got screws running through the stop pin. The problem is if you don't have screws running through that hollow threaded stop pin, and this one doesn't. As you see, there's no screw hole in the scale here, and there's no screw that comes with the knife that goes in that spot. If there's no screw running through there, all you have is a pretty thin hollow metal tube. And what I've seen happen twice now is that has sheared off. Just as I was becoming worried about that and saying, uh-oh, I have a bunch of these knives and they might have a serious problem, I said, wait a minute, I should open up a new one. And I did. And look at that. The Generation 2s now come with a solid metal stop pin. They were way ahead of me. They fixed it already. I gotta tell you guys, that's one of the things I like about Ganzo. Their quality has improved consistently and steadily over the last few years. Not just that the next knife they make is better than their previous models. They'll go back and they'll fix stuff on their old ones that have been out for a while, make them better too. So That's the changes they've made. They've tweaked the ergonomics a little bit, better thumb stud access, and they strengthened up the stop pin. Alright guys, I hope you found this video helpful. This is Jobin signing off saying, remember where your knife is.